Welcome to this explainer. Okay, we're just going to jump right into it because we're unpacking a pretty critical security reality today. If you're running a business, your web applications are literally the primary target for modern cyber threats. Period. I mean, from the portal your customers log into all the way to the backend systems your own employees use, these digital assets are constantly in the crosshairs. So today we're looking really closely at web application penetration testing, or WAPT for short. We're going to see exactly how to secure these environments before the bad guys find a way in. Are your web applications truly secure against persistent hackers? It's a question that keeps a lot of IT directors wide awake at night. A lot of organizations, they just rely on these basic automated security checklists and, well, kind of just hope for the best. But I gotta warn you, the data shows that automated checklists alone, they're simply not enough to stop modern, highly motivated adversaries. These attackers are always evolving, which means our defenses absolutely have to evolve too.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for demystifying web application security today. We're going to cover the modern web threat, what exactly is WAPT, from weakness to risk, the 7-step testing process, and finally wrap up with platforms and business benefits. Let's get right to it.
Starting off with Section 1, the modern web threat, and looking at exactly why basic checklists fail. So, web apps are the primary targets right now. And why is that? Well, because they hold the keys to the kingdom, your data. Now, don't get me wrong, automated tools definitely have their place in cybersecurity. They're great for a quick, surface-level sweep. But here's the catch. They lack the intelligence to understand complex business logic. They just don't know how your specific workflow is actually supposed to operate. And because of that, they easily miss deep-seated vulnerabilities. It's effectively like leaving hidden doors wide open for hackers to just waltz right through. That brings us right to Section 2. What exactly is WASP? This is where we look at real-world cyber attack simulation as the ultimate solution.
All right, so by definition, web application penetration testing is a specialized approach evaluating security by safely simulating real-world cyber attacks to identify vulnerabilities before attackers do. So the crucial point here is that this is all about being proactive, not reactive. You're actually bringing in the experts to emulate the exact same techniques a malicious hacker would use, but in a totally safe, controlled manner. It lets you find those security gaps and slam them shut before anyone else can exploit them.
This comparison here is incredibly helpful for really grasping the concept. On one side, we have a vulnerability assessment, or VA. Think of this as a comprehensive scan looking for the low-hanging fruit, stuff like outdated libraries or missing security headers. It's basically like walking around a building just to check if the doors are locked. But on the other side, we have penetration testing, or PT. This is elite, manual, hands-on keyboard attack simulation. Experts actively attempt to bypass your security logic just like a real adversary would. So going back to our analogy, this isn't just checking the locks. This is actually hiring a professional lockpicker to see if those locks can be beaten. Let's move right into Section 3, from weakness to risk. We really need to bridge the gap between obscure IT jargon and massive business consequences. Because a tiny technical oversight, it can rapidly escalate into a full-blown crisis. First, look at business logic flaws. Automated tools literally can't spot these, but a smart hacker can exploit them to gain unauthorized access. Imagine a standard user suddenly bumping up their privileges to an admin level. That leads to a total system takeover. Yikes. Next up, insecure APIs. Modern apps completely rely on APIs to talk to databases, right? Well, if they aren't hardened, they just become open pipes for data theft, which means massive data leaks, heavy legal fines, and a total loss of customer trust. And finally, broken authentication. Weak password policies or session flaws allow hackers to hijack legitimate accounts. The real-world risk there? Identity theft, fraud, and a brand reputation that is destroyed overnight as your users flee to competitors. And this brilliantly illustrates how a seemingly small vulnerability translates to catastrophic damage. Which brings us to Section 4, the 7-step testing process. Let's look at the methodical, expert-driven security approach developed by Cyber Ambassador. You see, this isn't just guesswork. It's a highly structured, almost scientific approach. Phase 1 is all about discovery. Step 1 is scoping and rules. Here, the target environment is clearly defined, whether we're talking staging or production, ensuring absolutely zero downtime for your live website, because obviously you don't want the test to break your business. Step 2 is reconnaissance, where the experts map out your entire application architecture, all the entry points and any third-party integrations. Then, Step 3 is vulnerability discovery. This is identifying major risks like the OWASP Top 10, which includes super dangerous flaws like SQL injection and cross-site scripting. Basically, these first 3 steps safely map out the terrain and highlight all the potential weak spots.
Let's move to the next phase and see how this builds into phase 2, attack and resolution. This is where things get really interesting. Step 4 is exploitation. The team safely simulates real-world attacks to validate if those discovered vulnerabilities can actually be exploited in practice. Step 5 is post-exploitation, analyzing exactly how deep that impact goes and what sensitive data could be exposed. But hey, they don't just leave you with a pile of problems. Step 6 is actionable reporting. This gives you a clear, prioritized roadmap, like a to-do list for remediation. And finally, step 7 is retesting. Once your team puts the fixes in place, the experts come back and verify them to ensure your defenses are 100% solid. Moving into our final section, Section 5, Platforms and Business Benefits. Let's look at exactly what can be tested and the tangible return on investment this brings to a business.
So, what kind of digital assets actually need this level of deep testing? Well, protection needs to be tailored for pretty much every platform out there. This includes SaaS and cloud apps, securing both multi-tenant and cloud-native environments. E-commerce and fintech platforms, where, protecting financial transactions and sensitive customer data is absolutely critical. It also covers custom web portals that are designed specifically for your own unique business operations. And yes, even mobile app backends. You have to safeguard those server-side components that your mobile applications constantly communicate with. Really, no matter the platform, tailored testing is an absolute requirement.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the overarching business value. Doing this regularly isn't just an IT expense, guys. It's a massive strategic benefit. First off, you achieve OWASP compliance, aligning yourself with global industry standards. You also ensure regulatory readiness, which is huge for meeting strict security requirements for things like GDPR, HIPAA, and PCI DSS. Crucially, you experience reduced development costs. Why? Because fixing vulnerabilities early on in the cycle is vastly cheaper than paying for a post-breach recovery and all the lawsuits that follow. Plus, you get incredible peace of mind with expert-verified application security, often represented by the Cyber Ambassador Shield. And ultimately, you see increased investor and partner trust because you can actually showcase your commitment to security through official attestation. We'll wrap up this explainer with a pretty powerful quote from the source material. Stop guessing. Start securing. Ask yourself, are you still relying on luck and automated tools to protect your most critical digital assets? Or are you proactively bringing in the experts to actually validate your defenses? When the cost of a breach is so astronomically high these days, can you really afford to just guess? Think about it. Anyway, thank you so much for exploring this fascinating topic with me today.